4 winters for Dubs TV outside here of Mark's Models out here in Newcastle. Now let me just tell you, about a little while ago I decided, a bit of a menopause thing, to get into toy trains. Well, not toy trains, model trains. And I discovered this place here, Mark's Models. It has everything. My childhood has come to life. Come on, let's go and have a look inside. Come on. Real soldier toys. Look at them. Aren't they amazing? And this one down here. Isn't it cool? It's like being there. It's like actually being there. Look at that. He has trains. Model trains. Reduced. I'm going to get one of them later. And he has a fantastic array of trains. Look at them. Look at this. Look at the trucks. Look. People buy trucks. Can't believe it. But look at the price of them. Fantastic detailing. They're really well made trucks, those things. These are actual collector's items. Never find anything like that. Not in your local Debenhams, I tell you. No, come here, further down here. Come on. Now look at this. Look. When I was a kid, we used to play Scalextric, and those cars used to fly off the tracks like nobody's business. But look, he has Scalextrics for every price range, one from 30 quid upwards. It's incredible. What type of models does Mark's Models do?
Well, we do a very broad cross-section. We do model railways, we do plastic kit building, which is people refer to as being airfix.
Yeah.
We do radio control models of planes, of cars, of boats. We do matchstick modelling, where you can make things out of matches. We do die-cast models of all sorts of subjects, be they cars, trucks, planes, which are literally items that people collect rather than things that people build.
Yeah, I was there recently out at the diorama place. We were there, that's right.
Out of Punchestown,
House in Punchestown, yeah. And there was a lot of people making model farms.
That's right.
Is that a big... I'd never heard of that now.
It is. I suppose because we have such an agricultural background,
right.
A lot of kids are brought up on farms, and obviously people tend to make models of things that they're familiar with and they see.
Yeah.
And obviously farm toys have been around for a long time, but now people are taking it a step further and could be in some cases creating a replica of their own farmyard.
It's fantastic what they did, I thought.
Yeah.
And the circuses was another thing.
That's
I have to say.
right,
The circuses were incredible.
Yeah.
And then someone made a model town. I thought that was cool. And there was a system called the Fallon system.
That's right, yeah. Fallon is a system which you can use with a model railway. It's the same scale as the standard model railway scale, and basically it's a roadway where you can run a bus or a car around on your road surface, and normally people can combine with a model railway.
And would you be thinking of getting that in?
We stock it actually. It wouldn't be a big product for us, but we do stock it, yeah.
So what's your most popular range?
Okay, well, because we do such a broad range of products, we've probably popular items in each case. When it comes to model railways, what has taken over in the last few years would be models of Irish trains.
Right.
Because once again, it's what people know. Prior to that, it tended to be models of British trains because that was what was generally available. But now it's more Irish stuff. When it comes to plastic kits, obviously a product with an Irish flavour. For example, we have a Hilaire model of the old Fuga, which used to be flown by the Air Corps here, just next door to us, really, from Baldonnel.
Right.
And that's a special model that we took and got a decal set done so that people could produce the Irish version of it. The standard one would have been in the French Petit de France livery.
Right, okay. So, I discovered this because I'd gone through a bit of a midlife crisis,
right,
and I'm reliving my childhood. And I remember coming into you about the model railways, and you gave me some great advice about picking stuff you like the look of, and I went for the Flying Scotsman and all that. But what kind of customers would there be? A lot of people like me coming in, or?
Yeah, I suppose the age profile of most of our customers, now there's no hard and fast rules on this, but tend to be people who have gone through their childhood and have probably taken up model railways or built plastic kits when they were children, and then in later life they come back to it again. I suppose that's sort of the cycle of life. We tend to go back to what we did when we were kids, and very much so. A lot of our customers would be middle-aged to even elderly people who are retired.
I found some great. Initially, it's very frustrating. I have to say to you, that train has done more flying than Ryanair. I tell you, but But I found here, like these things up here, the model sets you have
Yeah.
for the trains and that. Do
Yeah.
people buy this? And
They do. They wouldn't be a huge seller for us. That these are the baseboards with the mountains and,
Right.
and that on it. They are obviously limiting that you can only do what's on the board, whereas a lot of people like to create their own thing and design it themselves. And obviously, then the best thing is to start with just a plain sheet of timber
Yeah.
and do your own thing. But for people who don't want to do that and prefer to have something that's kind of a guidance as to what
Yeah.
we just need to do, in other words, get the track and sit it down into the actual places, well, then they are very handy for that.
grand. So now you have Scalextric. Now, I
Yeah.
have to say, I had Scalextric as a kid, and yeah, they were great crack and all that. And is there a lot of call for that? Do people do landscapes and all those kind of things?
Not as much, not to the same extent as railways. Railways, yeah, people will do a full scenery. Scalextric tends to be more of a take it out of the box, put it on the floor, play with it, have races, and then put it back in the box and put it away for 6 months or a year or whatever. It tends to be one of these things that gets dug out at Christmas time. We get a lot of people coming in close to Christmas saying, "Oh, we have a Scalextric, taking it out of the attic. We need a couple of new cars." And of course, with Scalextric, unlike some of the other brands of road race systems out there, you can get all these extra bits. There's been a lot of other sort of cheaper brands, yes, but if you look for a car, you can't get a car. With Scalextric, you can take a set out of the attic that you had 30 years ago. You can buy a car that'll work
Right.
now.
So now, in all fairness, now you have models to in the higher price range than the lower price range.
Okay, it can be the subject. Obviously, if we take plastic kits, for example, you can get a basic plastic kit which won't have a huge number of parts in it, for €5-6, or indeed you can get them with the paints and glues and things like that included for about €10. Then you can spend, as you say, €200 on a plastic kit. It might have 800 or 900 pieces in it, so it's not something that you're going to sit down and build in an evening. It's going to be a long-term,
Commitment.
4 or 5 months in most cases. And obviously it's not the kind of thing that somebody jumps in and builds if they've never built a plastic kit before. So it's really just more bits in the case of a plastic kit. In the case of a model train, for example, you can buy a model train engine for maybe €30, or you can buy them for €200. The one at €200 will have more detail, so it'll be more of an accurate replica than the one at sort of €35.
Okay. So now I'm a new customer coming in, and I'm a bit nervous because I'm about to tell you all about my childhood and all that kind of jazz.
We don't bite.
We don't bite. No fairness. So what advice would you give to someone who may be starting out, let's say with the model trains, for example?
Yeah. Well, I think, as I said to you at the time, your best way when you're starting off with a train is to start with a train set, because you're getting everything in that box that you require to get the train moving. If you come in and you just buy an engine, then you've got to buy track, you've got to buy a transformer and controller that control the speed and direction of the train, and you've got to buy carriages or wagons. So really a set is the best way to start, because financially it's going to be cheaper than buying all the items individually, and also it means when you walk out the door you've got everything and you're ready to go.
Right.
And then it's really just a case of picking something that suits your pocket, because obviously the set prices can vary, and picking something that you like the look of. For example, the Flying Scotsman.
Yeah, Flying Scotsman seems to be very popular
It is,
now.
yeah.
I got the Pullman, I think, is the other
Right.
thing. But I had to say the most reliable one was one I got for about £90, €90. I feel like that. It's a digital as well. There's digital and analog, isn't
That's
it?
another whole can of worms,
Yeah.
Basically, analog is model railways as has been known for many, many years, where basically you've got 12 volts going to your track. The more you increase the voltage, the faster the train goes. You reverse the polarity and the train goes the opposite direction.
Right.
In the case of digital, just to simplify it, is that your track is live all the time. You've got a decoder in every locomotive, and you're actually sending a message to that decoder to tell it what to do. So you're not varying the voltage on the track.
Okay.
The decoder is varying the voltage and direction and things like that to the actual locomotive, which means that you can have a large number of locomotives all running on the same track. In the case of analog, you can only have one locomotive per track circuit, because obviously when you vary the voltage, everything starts, everything stops.
Yeah.
Jim really is our expert when it comes to railways, and he looks after all the repairs, and he's great at anything like that. And he's also great at giving guidance as well. But if somebody has a technical issue, not necessarily that the train won't work, but just something that they need help with, wiring something up or something like that, he's there to help with that as well.
Brilliant. Now, you have 5 branches over the country, isn't it?
We have 4, and of course our web store, marksmodels.com, so I suppose you
Right.
could call that the 5th one, yeah. Basically, we're here in Greenogue Business Park, which operates as kind of our head office and our warehouse for all the rest of the shops, and it's obviously a retail shop as well. We're in Dublin city centre in Hawkins Street, which is probably was our first shop, and it's probably where we're most well known for, just off Burr Quay. We're also out in Dunleary Shopping Centre in level 2, and we're down in Cork in Oliver Plunkett Street.
All right. Which is your most busy? Which is the busiest?
Hawkins Street will be the busiest,
Right.
because footfall-wise, obviously being in the city centre, you know, it gets people passing trade, people just wandering by and come in and have a look. Whereas out here in Greenogue, it's a destination. You're not going to be walking past the door here, so you're going to have to come here. Yeah.
Yeah. And which is the most unusual models you have?
Ooh, that's a very good question. Unusual.
Thank you. I made it up.
I don't know. I've never been asked that one. Jamie.
Think about it now.
I know that one. I'm definitely going to have to think about. Unusual. Well, I suppose, you see, what's unusual for one person is usual for somebody else. So you could have somebody who come in and could look at Star Trek stuff and go, that's a bit off the wall.
Yeah.
And then you have somebody else who come in and say, model of a tractor. Who'd want a model of a tractor? So,
Yeah, that's something that escapes me, in all fairness.
It's really, it's all in the eye of the beholder, you know.
All right, that's a very diplomatic answer, I thought, in all fairness. But,
Well, we don't like to offend anyone.
no, well, the thing, yeah, I suppose. But, like, you obviously, which is your most popular model? Have you answered that question?
Well, I think, as we said before, it depends. There wouldn't be any one single model that would be most popular, because obviously it depends what area the person's into. As you were saying, in railways it tends to be Irish Railways, which tends to be very popular now. In plastics it tends to be something with an Irish theme, if possible.
Right.
And the same even with die-cast models. If we have models of an Irish bus or an Irish van, an old Dublin bus or an old CIE van or something like that, that would be more popular than a bus from Birmingham or whatever.
Yeah. One question springs to mind. What's the difference between a model and a toy?
That's a good one as well.
Thank you.
A toy, I suppose, is literally just for a child to play with. A model can fall into both, depending on the model, can fall into both fields,
Right.
basically. Obviously, the higher the level of detail on the model, then the less suitable it is for a child to play with, because things like small little mirrors on a car can get knocked off, and things like that, and wings on a racing car or something like that can get knocked off. So models would, generally speaking, be for adults, whereas toys would be for children.
And how have you dealt with the recession?
Well, it's been tough for everyone, and I suppose, like a lot of other businesses, we're not a necessity, we are a luxury. So it has been a battle, but so far so good. We've managed
Have you had to
get through it.
change?
We have seen probably our web business increase, and our people through the door has decreased. Also, the spend per customer has dropped as well. People who would have been regularly coming in every week and buying something for a model train, they're maybe only coming in every second week now, and they're not spending the same amount of money as they did. But you know, at the end of the year, we're still here.
Yeah. And myself personally, I'd kind of budget about 20 quid a week. Is that the average?
That would probably be the
Yeah,
average,
the
yeah.
average,
I mean,
yeah.
in the good times, we used to have guys who could spend 100 quid a week if they were,
Right.
you know, high earners. And they're probably the ones who have been most hit.
Okay.
You know?
And is there any models out, I mean, obviously you go to all these conventions and all that. Is there anything out there that you think, I must get that in as a new range?
I suppose, because I've been in the business now, as in Mark's Models, for 26 years, and I suppose prior to that I was in the business for about 6 years, so I'm in the business well over 30 years now. There's nothing out there any year that I say, oh, that's brand new, must have that. There's obviously new products coming on stream from all our existing manufacturers.
Right.
We pretty much have most of them covered now at this stage. So
Okay.
any new product, yes, is very important. That the industry is driven by new product. Nothing revolutionary new, but a new model bus, a new model train, you know, whatever the new products from each of the manufacturers
So
are.
as technology moves on, what's the future in models?
Very hard to say. I mean, what has happened in the railway end of things, probably more than anything, is that over the last kind of 10 years, people were looking for better quality, looking for more detail. And as a result of that, the manufacturers produce these products, but they cost more to produce than the simpler, less detailed product. And what has happened with some of the manufacturers now, that the costs are starting to get too high on the product. So in the case of Hornby brought out a range called Railroad, which is a more budget range, doesn't have as much detail, but can be sold at a lower price. And that has become popular in itself. that somebody can come in and buy 3 wagons for €20 rather than having to buy 1 wagon for 12 or 13 euros.
Yeah.
And that is certainly that is one thing that we've seen in the last couple of years. Yeah.
Okay, so what's the future for Mark's Models?
The future for Mark's Models is existence.
I
In the
suppose
current
the same for
climate.
all of us, really.
Yeah, it is really. I mean, people come in to me and say, "Oh, there's no model shop in Waterford, or there's no model shop in Sligo. Would you open a shop in Waterford or Sligo, or wherever it might be?" And to be honest with you, in the current climate, no, I couldn't justify it. We need a large number of people, and that's why we're in Dublin and we're in Cork.
Yeah.
And obviously, with having the website marksmodels.com, it's open to anyone, anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, to purchase any products from us.
Yeah, the websites are very handy.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Mark. That's us with Mark's Models. Mark from Mark's Models. Thanks very much.
You're welcome. Thanks.
This is Paul Winters for Dubs TV outside Mark's Models here in Green Oak in Rathcoole on a cold winter's night. So I'll see you next time. Hello. I'll see you next. Hello. Yeah. Bye. I'll see you again. Bye now. Bye.